everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video I am sharing something a little bit different, still fashion related, but today I wanted to share some of my fashion storage hacks. So I have 5 storage hacks to share with you, and basically these are things that I use in my wardrobe and sort of outside of my wardrobe as well to help me store my clothing, my shoes and some accessories as well, because I don't have the most space to store these things, but I do have an awful lot of clothes. So I find that sort of finding little hacks and little ideas and things to sort of help me make the most of my space and sort of maximize my wardrobe space and like shelving and things like that is imperative for me. So yeah, I thought today I would go ahead and share this with you. I'll admit I've been a little bit uninspired weather-wise, which is why my videos have been a bit like here and there, I guess. I think the weather has just been all over the place and it's made it so difficult to sit down and film, and I just haven't felt very inspired recently, and I kind of thought like I don't want to just put out videos for the sake of putting out videos. I want to be putting out videos that I think are interesting and that hopefully you will enjoy. So yeah, today's is a little bit different, but I really hope you like it. And so hack number 1 is hooks, adhesive hooks. So you can get these on Amazon. They are really inexpensive. I will leave a link to the ones that I have in the description box down below, as well as some others that you can get for yourself. You will have seen these in my wardrobe clear out video, which I filmed at the start of this year. I filmed that in January. If you haven't watched them, I will actually leave them linked in a card up here so you can watch them if you want to. This is great. I'm not going to take credit for it. It's not my idea or anything like that. I first saw this on Emma Hill's channel and in her wardrobe. I know that she stores a lot of things in the inside of her wardrobe doors, and I thought it was such a good hack. I thought it was such a good idea, so I went ahead and bought some adhesive pegs myself, and on my pegs I keep some of my belts, and it sort of uses up space that would otherwise be unused. So like I said, I keep some of my belts on a row of 3, and then I have an extra 2 just above those where I keep some hats, like the sort of hats that you can't really fold and keep like neatly tucked away, the sort of hats that have a bit of shape to them. So I have like a boat style hat, which obviously if I were to put in a cupboard or on a shelf or something, it would just flatten down, and that is not ideal. So I keep them there, and again, it's something that stays there all year round and just doesn't bother me. It's got plenty of room from the door closing, and like my actual clothes has never fallen off, does a really good job, and like I said, just a really great way to add in some extra storage. Storage hack number 2 is baskets. Now this can be like fabric baskets, wicker baskets, whatever type of basket you want, basically. I have an array of baskets. I genuinely think I have baskets literally dotted around the house everywhere. I mean, I have a basket in our sort of storage cupboard of like crisps. It's my little crisps basket. I just love a good basket. But the way I use them for fashion storage or like clothing storage is I have a set of 3 fabric ones in my wardrobe. Now these are quite large ones. Again, I bought them from Amazon. They're quite large. They have handles so I can pull them out, and basically they act like fake drawers for me. I don't have a chest of drawers, so I don't use a chest of drawers, but there are things that, you know, you sort of need to keep in drawers and a little more concealed as opposed to having them in open shelves, and they are just perfect for storing this type of things. Basically a perfect faux drawer, which is exactly what I needed them for. I can pull them out, pull them in, whatever I want to do with them, because they have the little handle, and everything is just kept a little bit neater inside my wardrobe, which is ideal for me. These particular ones also have a sort of extra layer that you can use to cover them on the top. So for example, if you were using these to keep on top of wardrobes, for example, if you have wardrobe space or if you have space above your wardrobe, you could always use these above your wardrobe, and it tends to get a little bit dusty up there. So, you know, being able to close them up is ideal for something like that. I personally don't have them closed. I have them opened because they do live inside my wardrobe and it doesn't get that dusty in my wardrobe. So that is where I keep mine, and I keep them open, and they just work so well at storing the things that otherwise I would have in like a chest of drawers or something. But seeing as I don't have them, they are perfect at sort of creating these like fake drawers in my wardrobe. I also currently have a wire basket, just a little like rose gold one from Primark, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure from Primark, so super inexpensive. And in there I store my sunglasses, and I just have all my boxes in there. sunglass covers and sunglass cases and things like that, and they just all stack really nicely. I'll admit I don't have the biggest collection, so maybe if you are like an sunglass addict and you've got loads of them, this might not work for you, but it works really well for me. Hack number 3 is one that I'm pretty sure most of us already do, but I thought I would mention it anyway, and it is to keep more than one item of clothing on a hanger. I'm sure we all do this already, but a few little tips for those of you who already do, or if you are going to start doing it if you don't already, is to try and keep everything in sort of its categories. So for example, I have one hanger where I keep all of my cami tops. I don't have that many, maybe like 5 or 6. I want to say, and they are all on the same hanger just because it's super easy to just remove that hanger and see everything that's on it. It's very easy to sort of sift through them regardless of whether they are on one hanger or on multiple hangers. So that's the first tip I would say. Anything that is sort of sleeveless and that you will be able to see very well, like regardless of how many are on one single hanger, I would do that. When it comes to bottoms and things, so potentially skirts or trousers, culottes, things like that, if you are hanging them up, then try and do them back to back so that you can see them both clearly. 2 I think is ideal because if you are pulling out that hanger, you can see it from the front and you can see it from the back, or even if you're just like sifting through your wardrobe, you can still see the front and the back, so you won't have anything getting lost and sort of forgetting that you own it. When it comes to long sleeve items like dresses or maybe shirts and things, they can be a little more tricky to keep on a hanger. So if you can fit more than one, I'd go max 2, then I would have one back to front basically. So if you're thinking shirts, I would have one shirt sort of all the way unbuttoned, face the back facing one way, and then the other one just sort of like over it, almost like the shirts are hugging each other. So then you will see the 2 colors either side. The thing that makes it a little bit tricky is that you won't be able to see the sleeves both sides. So, you know, you might just like pull out a sleeve and be like, oh, I don't want this, and forget that there is another one layered there, which is why I think that sometimes layering things with long sleeves can be a little bit tricky. But if you need to, then I would say maximum 2, and again, just try and do one facing forwards, one facing backwards, and that way you'll still be able to see them both, as opposed to, for example, layering shirts just open one on top of the other, because you will eventually forget what is underneath. Hack number 4 is to fold smart. Now I know the whole Marie Kondo method is pretty huge right now, but I think it's mostly for like drawers and things like that. I don't really know how well it would work on shelves, so I personally don't use it, but I just try my best to fold things as thinly as I can so that they don't take up a whole shelf, and rather I can fit 2 piles either side of each other. That's what works really well for me. That's how I store like my big jumpers. I try to store them like that. And when it comes to things that are a little bit thinner, for example, thin tops or like roll necks or t-shirts and like loose tops, I fold them again just in half and just try and keep them as concise as possible. So if necessary, I can fit one row of tops next to another row of tops on the same shelf. When it comes to t-shirts, I like to fold them into 3/4 because t-shirts are quite thin material and there aren't like massive sleeves that you need to deal with or anything like that. They tend to be quite loose fitting and quite thin, so these are super easy to fold into 3/4. That way you're not using as much space in terms of like lengthwise because you make them quite concise. And if you have shelves that are quite deep, this way you can sort of like layer, again, sort of have things layered on your shelf. So you can have, for example, long tops towards the back, and then just sitting neatly in front of them you can have your t-shirts folded up in 3/4. Now I also keep my jeans folded, and I actually really struggled with storing jeans. I was finding it quite tricky, but now I think this way works quite well for me. The way I store them is I just fold them once in half, so they are quite long, but like I said, my shelving or like my wardrobe is quite deep, so it allows me to be able to just fold them in half and they fit perfectly. And the way that I keep these is 1 forwards, 1 backwards. So basically forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. Basically I alternate them, and this means that I don't have just one side filled with waistbands, with like the part of your waist that is much thicker than the other side is. You'll find that if you keep all the waistbands to the same side, you'll find that one side is sort of much higher than the other. It sort of does a bit of a slope, which obviously means you're not making the most of that space because you've just got this awkward bit of space left in the front. So the way I like to store them is, like I said, one forwards, one backwards. So you'll have a waistband on your right, a waistband on your left, waistband on your right, waistband on your left. And you'll find that the more you start doing this, it actually equals it out. So it ends up being quite balanced. You end up with just a bit more evened out, you know. If you want to put something on the top, then you can, because it will all be nice and even and you won't have one side that is far higher and sort of everything sliding off. It just works really well. It means I can store a few more jeans, which is always good, and it just means that I'm not wasting space unnecessarily. And my fifth and final hack is to do with footwear. I find shoes quite hard to store, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like there isn't a great way to store shoes. Like, just generally speaking, they are so difficult to store. So I keep all of my shoes in shelving, and it's worked pretty well so far. So when it comes to boots and like heels, things that have quite a like sturdy shape to them that you can't really sort of manipulate them, the way I keep these is kind of similar to how I store my jeans, is one pair facing forward, or no, one shoe facing forwards and the other pair facing backwards. If you look at sort of a pair of boots you have, or a pair of trainers or something, you'll find that they are quite curved. So they have a curved shape because naturally it's just going to follow the natural shape of your foot, which is again curved. So if you put one facing forwards and one facing the back, you'll find that it sort of does, I really don't know how to describe this other than saying like yin and yang. That's all I can think of when I think about this. But basically they just end up sort of fitting together seamlessly. So rather than having two necks side by side and just like random space either in the middle or on the outside, if you keep them one facing forwards and one facing backwards, you'll find that they can sort of cinch in together and like squeeze together much more easily. And I would say that if you do this on like every shelf, I would say you manage to fit in like one extra pair of shoes on each shelf, which is ideal, obviously. But then when it comes to things like trainers, I keep these slightly differently. I still go forwards and backwards, but rather than putting one next to the other, I have one pair facing the front below and then one pair facing the back above. And that way I have sort of, they're just one on top of the other, so they take up far less space than they would if they were forwards and backwards, or if they were just side by side, basically. And when it comes to flat shoes, so things like sandals and like sliders and just pumps and things, I typically just stack these one on top of the other. So there we have it. Those were my 5 fashion storage hacks. I hope you found them helpful. Let me know as well if you have any other storage hacks when it comes to clothing, shoes, accessories, things like that. So do let me know if you have any other storage hacks that you think could work for me. I would love to hear, and I hope these were helpful for you. If you hadn't heard them before, or if maybe you think they would work quite well in your space, then I would love to know, so let me know in the comments down below. As always, I just want to say a really big thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I mean, it means the world when I see you guys enjoying videos if you thumbs up, so please do leave this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new as well, and I will see you in my next video. I'll see you all very soon. Bye.